Deputy Minister for Vocational Training, Jorge Arévalo, who's going to explain to us the work that he's been involved in over all the last few years. And so he's going to tell us about where VET is heading. We're going to start by showing a video. The video's in Basque, but it has been interpreted. I'd imagine you've all got your headsets to hand. If you don't know Basque, you can hear it in Spanish and also in English. It's been translated.
Aldaketa haizeak datozenean, batzuk harresiak eraikitzen dituzte. Beste batzuk, haize errotak. Gure errotek, Euskadiko lanbide heziketako errotek, 3 hegal dituzte. Berrikuntza, ekintzailetza eta nazioarteratzea. 3 hegal zutabe sendo batean oinarrituta, hezkuntza da zutabe nagusia. Errota hauek energiarik boteretsuena sortzen dute. Egiten dakiten pertsona prestatuen energia. Munduak aldaketa prozesu sakonak bizi ditu. Teknologiari esker etorkizuna berehala bilakatzen da oraina, eta gaur ezinezkoa iruditzen zaigun hori bihar bertan errealitate izan daiteke. Euskadiko lanbide heziketa berriz ere eraldatu da. Ezinbesteko eraldaketa konplexua izan da. Lanbide heziketako zentroen lana, konpromisoa eta inplikazioari esker egina ahal izan den transformazioa. Une honetan baiezta dezakegu, etengabe sortuko diren beharrei erantzunak emateko prest gaudela. Berrikuntza aldaketarako ausardia izatea da. Fabrikazio aurreratua, automozioa, energia, automatizazio konektatua, errealitate virtuala, nanoteknologia, elektromedikuntza, eraikuntza adimentsuari aplikatutako dronak, fabrikazio aditiboa eta 3 dimentsiotako inprimagailuak dira besteak beste Euskal lanbide heziketa dagoeneko jorratzen ari den espezializazio alorrak. Beste behin gure burua berrasmatu dugu. Erronka berriei aurre egiten ari gara, beste modu batean antolatuz eta lan eginez. 3 dimena erabiliz, diseinatuz, arriskatuz eta sortutakoa aplikatuz. Arazoak sortzen direnean erantzunak ematea ez da nahikoa, aurre hartu behartzaie. Kalitatea ez da nahikoa, berrikuntzaren kulturan barneratzea ezinbestekoa zaigu. Jakintza handiagoa eta hobea eskatzen duen berrikuntza disruptiboa da. Aplikatzen jakin behar den jakintza. Erantzunak emateko ezin dugu esperientzia hartzera itxaron. Azkartasunez erantzuteko prestatu gara eta parean ditugun erronka horiei aurre hartzeko. Pertsona ekintzaileak hezi behar ditugu. Kudeaketarako, interpretaziorako eta erabakitzeko gaitasuna izango dutenak. Iniziatiba izango duten pertsonak, balioa gehituz, euren bizitza pertsonal eta profesionalean ekintzaile izango diren pertsonak. Bizi ekintzailetza euren alor profesionalean ere aplikatu beharko dutenak. Iristen ari den etorkizun horrek egiteko modu ezberdinak eskatzen ditu. Aztertu, sumatu, eraikitzen jakin, sortzeko gaitasuna izan eta konplexutasuna kudeatu, proposamenak eginez, lehentasunak ezarriz eta aukerak sortuz. Baloreetan hezten dugu, pertsonak prestatzen ditugu, profesionalak prestatzen ditugu, bizitzarako prestatzen ditugu. Modu horretan gai gara dagoeneko iritsi den 4.0 iraultza industrial berriari aurrea hartzeko. Euskadiko lanbide heziketa unean uneko beharren aurretik doa. Moldatu egiten da, eraldatu, berrasmatu. Profesional hoberenen eskutik iritsiko diren irtenbide efizienteak behar dituzten inguru konplexuetan egiten dugu lan. Pertsonekin eta pertsonentzat egiten dugu lan. Euskal lanbide heziketaren talde paregabea osatzen duten pertsonak, egunero hau guztia egiteko lanean dabiltzanak. Helburu argi batekin, prestatzen ditugun pertsonak Euskadik behar dituen profesionalak bilakatzea. Prest dagoen gizarte moderno, aurreratu eta solidario baten etorkizun oparoa.
Qué importante es, cuando surgen situaciones diferentes, ser capaces de saber.
We need to be able to know what aims we want to achieve, and above all, we need to know what road we should take to manage to achieve our aims. We need a clear path to follow. We need to know where we are heading. But I'm going to ask you a small favor now. Can you please help me now choose a road to take, choose a path to take? Where should everybody in this room choose to go if we want to take the same route? And if it's okay with you, I want you to raise your hand, the right hand or the left hand. You just close your eyes for a minute. And it doesn't matter whether you lift your right hand or your left hand. Just close your eyes. And I want you to point towards where you think north is. Where do you think north is? Just point with your eyes shut and your hand in the air. Where do you think north is? Now open your eyes. And look, we've got a certain problem here. We've got a lot of work to do over the next couple of days, because we've got to see whether at the end of this conference, all of us know exactly where north is, so that we know where we're going, and so that you know that me and the president and the minister are all going down the same route. That's very important. This really is important to know where to go, because if we don't know where we're heading, it doesn't really matter what route we take. If we start giving each other different orders, we're all going to start going in the wrong way, and we're never going to get things right. It's really important to realize that reality is stubborn. We need to be very clear on where we are and where we're heading. But what it's important also to know is, what's our starting point? What's our real situation? Some people think that things will go back to how they used to be, and they're never going to do that. Things might be better, or they might even be worse than how they used to be. That's going to depend upon us, and it's going to depend on you for things to be better. But they're not going to be the same. I can guarantee you that. And we need to be clear on that. We need to know that in the future, we need to be able to do different things and work hard. And that's also important, because we're going to have to experience things that human beings don't like, which includes uncertainty. Uncertainty and complexity. Complexity in our daily lives, complexity in the things that we're going to have to do because of the way things are changing. But above all, this uncertainty that already exists today, but in the future is going to be even more uncertain. It's really difficult to predict what the future's going to be like. And it's a future that's just around the corner. Technology, digitalization, business competitiveness, employability, or the development of employment is changing incredibly, which means that society is changing as well. What is the main aim? What is the main aim of all of this? Well, the main aim of this is to be able to adapt to change. We need to be able to adapt. We need to prepare and train youngsters to be able to adapt to the different circumstances that will emerge during their lifetime, some of which will be complex, others which will be less so. because the future is promising, but it's going to be very complex. And if we are going to be able to adapt to that complex, we need to be flexible, adaptable. But if we don't change, if we don't do things differently, it's actually absolutely impossible that we're going to be able to respond to the changes that are out there. And this idea of change means that we have to transform things, and that's where we have a problem. Short-sightedness. Short-sightedness. Some people might will be saying to me, I didn't know that penguins were short-sighted, neither did I. But these penguins that are up there because 2 months ago in the Basque television station, there was an interesting program about penguins in the Antarctic. And they showed a picture of an island, an ice island, which was full of penguins, and a helicopter flew overhead, and the penguins looked up and saw that helicopter. And as the helicopter got nearer, they kept on looking at it. They just kept on looking at the helicopter until they fell backwards. And the rest actually followed them. They all fell over, and they ended up just falling into the water, falling into the sea. They just fell over backwards because they were looking at the helicopter. So you can't just carry on watching a helicopter. You need to get moving. You can't just remain still. And that's what is happening in many people. There are many organizations here and many people who just think that actually they don't need to change in a situation which is so changeable as the one that we're in today. Here we've got some examples of companies that were very important in their day, but actually it's very striking the fact that they've almost virtually disappeared, and some of them have disappeared. How some of these companies haven't been able to adapt or haven't wanted to adapt, but others have. And those that have adapted are performing well. This is just one example. We could put up many more, but I think it's important for us to have an idea of how important it is to carry on adapting to the times. And what's the magic potion for all of this? Well, I think actually it's attitude. Attitude isn't everything, but an attitude helps a lot. And attitude needs to be that we become proactive people. Sometimes we're going to get things wrong, sometimes we'll get things right, but we need to be able to do things differently and optimistically. You know, a pessimist is a person who has things that happen to him, and an optimist is a person who makes things happen. I actually argue with a person about that, but somebody actually said to me, well, actually, a pessimist is an optimist who's got a lot of experience. But I actually don't agree with that. I think an optimist is a person who does things to make things happen. So I think attitude is important. The Basque president said, rightly so, initially, that VET in the Basque country has another challenge ahead of it, which is to transform VET in the Basque country, because there's many, many changes out there, and we need to transform things majorly. And we've started doing that. We need to meet new challenges, we need to use new tools, and we need to implement new organizational models. All this means that what we've done is we've set up a different kind of project in VET in the Basque country. We coordinate in the government and the government's departments, the Department of Employment, Competitiveness, Language Policies, and VET, all together work on the new model, this new production model that we're going to need in the future. This production model is quite clear. We're working on smart specialization that the EU has set out. We know what our strengths are, and we had to strengthen them. And we've therefore set out 3 important objectives. Firstly, human growth, better growth of people and as professionals. And I'm not just talking about the best in the class, but also those people that have difficulty in keeping up with the speed of the evolution that's necessary, concentrating our effort on everybody and working on social cohesion. Smart growth. We can't compete on price. We need to compete using technology, innovation. We need to compete with the best as well. And that means that when we talk about smart growth, we need to do things that other people don't, or do them better than others. do. That's what I mean when I talk about smart growth and also sustainable growth. We need our economic growth to be sustained over time. That's very important. We need to recoup the rate of growth that we had before, but it's also important that that growth be sustainable. It needs to be energy efficient. That will lead to sustainable growth that will help the environment rather than harm it. So vocational training has concentrated on three main areas of development. Firstly, training, of course. We need to prepare people properly. VET schools have always worked very well, and we still carry on working in our VET schools, but actually that's just not enough now. We need to add other kinds of skills. We need to educate our students in other things so that they can do things differently, so that they have a different way of working. And we knew that was what was going to be necessary in a very, very short space of time. When we started this back in 2012, 2013, we knew that in 2016, 2017, 2018, things were going to be different. So what we've done in VET is adapt to the needs. That's why we're getting involved in dual VET. It's been very, very successful. And we're going to grow this year. As the president said, there's going to be 80% more people participating and over 50% more companies participating. And another thing that we've been involved in is innovation. And we're talking here about internal innovation, that is innovating in VET, doing things differently, changing what we're doing, always based on what we've done in the past. This is one of the best things that we do in VET in the Basque Country, which is that we work on what we've already done. We build on what's already been built. We're not changing every 2 to 3 years, just stopping what's been done and changing completely directions and doing a U-turn. No, we build on what we've already got. We're getting involved in new ways of being organized, new ways of management, and other things that I'll talk about in more depth. But we also need to work on innovation, external innovation. We had a problem with applied innovation in SMEs. Many of these SMEs are auxiliary companies that are vital to the Basque economy. In VET, we are working on SMEs and trying to get them to develop on new products, new production processes, and to get them to improve their services from an applied innovation setting. Of course, entrepreneurship is another important field. The president earlier said that over 600 companies have been set up in our VET schools over the last decade. But we want people to be entrepreneurs in their lives as well. Because if you're an entrepreneur in your own personal life, you surely will be so also in your workplace. That's what's so important. And that's why we're working on entrepreneurship, so that you can be an entrepreneur both in your personal life, but also in your future work. And internationalization, that's another important thing for us. Of course, we have to support Basque companies that are overseas, and there are many of them. We have almost 2,000 factories overseas, and we in VET will always be supporting those companies, helping them to develop their human resources and helping them technologically. But it's also important to have international relations. It's important to share, learn, help other people to work in our field, which is vocational education and training. That's why we now work with over 42 other countries, 22 of whom are from the EU, and the rest are from other areas around the world. And another thing that we are concerned about is people. We know that's where our wealth lies. We're well aware that our wealth is in people. And as we know that, we have to invest a lot. And I'm not just talking about investing in money and time and effort, but in preparation. But we're going to have to go a little step further. We're going to have to make sure that our students are prepared to work in different circumstances, because the context has changed. When we talk about smart manufacturing, Industry 4.0, smart materials, We can manufacture smart nuts and bolts now. There are smart nuts and bolts now. Smart nuts, smart screws that can unscrew themselves when they need to. And shortly, there will be cars that are going to be able to repair themselves. A computer will tell the car to repair itself. All of this idea of intelligence, of smartness and automation we're working on now in our industry, and VET has to be there, has to be aligned, has to be fully aligned with all those companies that are in these fields and all of those people that are going to be working in those companies and in auxiliary companies. Because if we are able to train people well, to educate them well, to cover those needs, then we really will be at the forefront, at where we want to be. And what about innovation on the job? I'm not talking about innovation, the company innovates, there's an innovative product. No. When a person goes to apply for a job, they need to take on board, they need to have in their innards the idea of innovation so that they can do things differently, so that they can innovate and improve their know-how within the company. And here's just a few photos. World has changed. Medicine, digitalization, all kinds of different computer science, cars, or automation. It's all changing. In 2025, all cars are going to be able to drive themselves. A different matter is whether the roads will be ready for that, but the cars will be able to drive themselves. And look at that drone. You're going to be able to fly inside a drone. You're going to actually be able to take passengers in a drone. Though that already exists, all of this takes us on to a different way of seeing things, and that forces VET to think differently. From advanced industry, we've moved on to smart industry and the connected factory, and that's a huge leap because we're now working with flexible, intelligent manufacturing systems and the idea of a digitalized, connected factory, which are completely different to the factories that we've known so far. And all of this means that we need to provide highly trained, prepared people with advanced skills. And of course, VET is working on that. And we've got several of our schools working on this process of moving towards the Industry 4.0 model. And it's not just industry. When I talk about industry, I'm talking about international trade, about administration, computer science. Everything changes when you look at the way a company works. But let's talk about health. There's a lot of changes going on in health. We've got virtual reality in the health sector. Doctors can diagnose patients using virtual reality. It's all changed there. And here we've got a teacher. This is a picture of a teacher in Don Bosco in Gipuzkoa. And he made a prosthetic arm using a 3D printer. And this child came to us. He was missing his left arm, and we managed to get him a prosthetic left arm made out of thanks to a 3D printer, and he can now use it. And here you can see him using it. This is one of the things that we're working on, and that really is being successful in VET in the Basque Country. And we've also got robots who can cook. We've got robots who can carry people who have mobility difficulties. We've got robot waiters. By the way, 2 months ago in China, the first robot waiters were given the sack. Why were they given the sack? Because they kept bashing into each other and they kept spilling the soup. I imagine they've changed them now and they're better now. But I'm just saying that, you might find this funny, but this is what's going to happen in a very short space of time. And how does this affect us? What do we need to concentrate on? What do we say? What do we mean when we say employability? Employability is evolving towards a far more complex idea of what professionality means. We're not just facilitating things. It's far more complex than that. And what's more, in a survey that was carried out in the Basque Country by the Basque Employers Association to around 1,000 companies, when they were asked about the professional profile of those they were going to hire this year and next year, what was important for them, 78.3% of the companies replied what they most valued was attitude, followed by experience, and only in third place we had training and specialization. That's not a problem, because the second, experience, can be provided by dual VET. The third, that is qualification and specialization. Well, yes, we've got specialized courses that are offered a la carte to those companies that need them, so that people are prepared when they need them. And this is very important. We need to have that clearly defined. But there's the first concept there, attitude. Attitude, which is very, very important. And this means then the preparation that we offer to our students in VET needs to be different right from the classroom setting. We need to change the methodology that we use in the classroom setting. People need to come out of the classroom with a different kind of knowledge and different attitudes, and we're doing that now in our syllabuses and in the learning methodologies and teaching methodologies that we use.
It is essential that in this new environment, we all need to have three components. First, a cultural, scientific, and technological component. Then we also need to have an ethic component, and that is only evidence, as you can all understand. This is also something very important. And of course, the professional component is essential too, knowing that in many cases we are going to require people being highly skilled and also having a certain specialization. So people who are already trained in a different way, people who are able to manage complexity. It is very important to understand what complexity is and to be able to reach complex environments, being able to interpret things, because we are going to be handling many data. When we talk about a connected company, they are going to be working with robots and people, all of them connected through ICTs. And people are the ones who need to have all the knowledge, because they are going to be interpreting many different data. They are going to be interpreting data and they are going to be making decisions. That is essential too. Our students need to have these skills that were not asked for before, that were not important before. That is why we're talking about people and two concepts. We need to learn about how to become, how to be, and we need values, because for us this is a priority. But we also need an attitude. We need to do things well. People who are already working with enthusiasm, but the attitude is essential. We need the skills, but the attitude is essential too. We need entrepreneurship. We need an attitude so that at the end of the day we can end up being the people that we need in current day world, because as what we tend to say, we are in the society of knowledge. But what is the society of knowledge? We know that we need to adapt. But let me tell you something. In this society, we first need to change the concept in education when we talk about education. We cannot keep on teaching right in the same way. Whenever we go and take an exam, we cannot think that we just need to reply to 20 questions and then interpret that we are ready. Only because, because we were successful. We need to evolve. We need to follow the evolution of people. This has to be changed. So we need schools and centers which are oriented towards the future, looking at the future. they have to be future-oriented. They need to have ideas and they need to develop, and mainly they need to implement those ideas. And they also need the tools and the methods to do so. This is one of the priorities we have defined, because we are talking about different things, different organizations with different learning methods. We also need flexibility in terms of timetables. We need polyvalent teams. We are not just going to have one main teacher. Maybe we will have one main teacher for only 4 or 5 students, and the follow-up will be different too. We need a different approach, and we will be focusing on evolution, on the evolution of each of those students, so as to be able to develop those skills, because we can all become geniuses. We all have specific skills that we need to be able to identify and strengthen so that we can have a personal and professional evolution that will make it possible for us to be successful. So, high performance cycles, that is very important too. Teachers involved, as well as the schools, such as Tknika, which is the institution which is coordinating all this evolution. Yes, it is very important, because everything I am telling you about is something that we are already developing, and we are working around challenges. The most important thing is evolution, and not just the assessment, the evolution of those students, of those people who are going to be receiving their VET training through a different model, in different centers, in different schools, and I am going to try and show you how we are working.
Aldatzea beti berdina egiten bada. Ezin gara aldaketetara moldatu, aurrera pausurik ematen ez badugu. Gaur gure enpresetako beharrak aldatu dira. Profesional ona ez da ezagutza duena, baizik eta ezagutza hori irtenbide efizienteak emateko erabiltzen dakiena. Gizarte aurreratu batek pertsona eta profesional azkarrak behar ditu. Honelako eszenatokian, ezinbestekoa da irakaskuntza metodologiak ere aldatzea. Ezagutza garrantzitsua da, baina balio gehigarria konpetentzien jabetzean dago. Gaur erronkatan oinarritutako irakaskuntza kolaboratiboaz hitz egiten dugu. Ikaskuntza kolaboratiboak gainera, lan prozesu konkretu bat integratu behar du, eta lan horiei egokituko zaizkien espazioak eskaini behar ditu. Lan eremuak gela bat osatzen duten hormak baino askoz gehiago dira. Espazio malguak dira, erosoak, akustika ona dute, malgutasuna dute konexio arloan ere, informazio teknologiak erabiltzeko erraztasunak ematen dituzte, eta hormak ere margotu daitezke. Informazio gunea. Informazioa bilatzeko espazio egokia da. Irakurketak, bideokonferentziak, multimedia edukien ikuskatzea. Helburua, informazio baliabide ugari dituen ikasgela sortzea. Analisi gunea. Berrikusi eta aztertzeko gunea da. Elkarrizketarako gunea, erabakiak hartzeko gunea. Sormen gunea. Marraztu, modelatu, zirriborroak egin, maketak. Espazio honek ideien sormenerako egokia izan behar du. Eraikitzeko gunea. Sortutako ideiak prototipatzeko gunea da. Exekuzio gunea. Azken produktua eraikitzeko gunea. Atseden gunea. Gainontzeko espazio guztiak bezain garrantzitsua da. Gune lasaia da. Ikasleari, ari den laneko egoera emozionaletik deskonektatzeko aukera eman behar dio. Ondoren, berriz ere lanera egoera emozional egokian itzul dadin. Gune hauen erabilerarekin, erronka aztertua ahal izango dugu. Informazio guztia ulertu, interpretatu eta sintetizatu, eta sortutako ezagutza transmititu. Adostasunez, irtenbidea erabaki eta epaitzeko.
Bueno, para nosotros...
For us, the future is already here. This room, this classroom, which is already ready, you know, we are already using it and we are going to have more and more. Tknika, the president, has said that we need to support unemployed people, but something essential that he said is that we need to start thinking that we had to come out of the crisis being in a strong position. And this is very important. It is just as when, when we are riding a bicycle and people fall, and people who are riding the bicycle, they fall, and then the others start falling on top of the others, but some of them are able to race and to keep on moving and to keep on going and take their bicycle. So the idea is that even if we fall, we need to stand up. But now we have a different bicycle. Our bicycle is much better now. That is why we are also changing our classrooms. And by the year 2020, many of these classrooms are going to be a reality in our VET centers. They are already there, and we are going to have more and more of them. This is very important for us because the strength of an organization, the strength of the organization implies adding the strength of everybody there. And we all have to be moving along together. Here, somebody has to be looking towards the future. Yes, if we start walking and running, yes, we will start moving, sure, yes, but we also need to know where we are heading to. That is very important, because if not, we would be doing like two friends. One of them, he had a bandage on his eyes, and he said to him, "What happened to you?" And he said, "Well, that building there, and that there is a wall in front of the building, and it is true that it is said that, that you can trespass, that they want to sell that building. Well, the thing is that they want to sell it, but you cannot bump yourself into the wall." Together, we have to move along, and we need to share the same objective: improve our vocational education and training all together. But we need to share knowledge. That is another strength. We are changing things because you are making your contribution from the public sector, from the private and public sector. Yes, we are changing things. There are many transformations to be done because the project is ours. It's a common project because we are transforming things. We are changing one teacher who has the skills. Now, what we want to have is the teacher of knowledge, not just teachers who have the knowledge or who have the skills. We want to have those teachers of knowledge. What are teachers of knowledge? We are speaking about people who are able to generate knowledge. They can assume it, but they can generate knowledge. They can share that knowledge and implement that knowledge. They choose, they act, they implement things. Whenever we are speaking about a project, and we have to collaborate and join hands. We all share the same project, and in this case we are talking about vocational education and training because we understand things in a different way. A school is not just a place where I go and receive a lesson or give a lesson. It is my job, it is my school, it is the place where I am going to be sharing all my knowledge because I want companies to get better, the country to get better and my students to get better. And that is what we are already doing, and that is what you are already doing, you teachers, because our schools, what is a vocational education and training school? Well, sure, it is a place where we provide skills and training, but the most important thing is to know also what their knowledge and their skills are. It is true that teachers, when we are at school, we have a syllabus, a curriculum, but we know many more things too, so we have knowledge to add. Yes, and that is what we are already doing in the Basque Country. But there is a third element, and it is what that school is able to do, to carry out, and that is how we can multiply its efficiency by 10, because you are able to do incredible things. And here I am thinking about the schools in the Basque Country. What you are doing, what you are making is huge, incredible. We are working with difficult situations, and we are coming out and we are being successful. We are fostering the capacity or the capability to do things in a different way. We have to be daring and to be able to develop important projects for the future. And within this concept, or within this context, we need to talk about the culture of innovation, not only because we are going to be doing different things, culture as something on our daily basis. We are able to innovate on a daily basis, right? And maybe we can be talking about innovation according to which we improve things, or maybe we can be talking about disruptive innovation. Yes, disruptive innovation is essential. And if we make a mistake, that's not a problem. We will be changing whatever didn't work, and we will be doing things in a different way. But if we succeed, then we are going to become stronger. The role of direction teams, they play an essential role. Leaders in schools, all the people involved in the school, students included, they all have an essential role to play. The training our teachers have is essential, of course. Yes, and we need also to improve that. And also collaboration networks, that has also to be promoted. We need to be cooperating between public and private centers. That is important too. But we also need collaboration between the schools and the industries and the world of businesses, because we are talking about integrated centers which are there to try and give swift and quick replies. And these centers have many challenges ahead of themselves, and they need to be able to learn by themselves, and then they need to be able to share that knowledge. But also they need to be able to transform themselves. They need to be able to transform themselves without asking questions to anybody. That is important too for them. It is not a question of thinking whether I can make it or not. Yes, we need to be able to transform ourselves. And on the one hand, we need human capital. That is essential. And I will always repeat it: human capital, teachers, direction teams and students, and also the different staff who work in the classrooms and in school. That human capital is essential. The technological capital too. Today and in the future, in our schools, we are always going to have equipment and machines for real production, because if we worry about those who are unemployed, and that is a priority, we are also, for us, it is also very important that people who are already working can remain where they are, can continue in that job, because those people are going to need to be also trained as long as they work and to improve their skills, and we have to be there too to help them learn as long as they keep on working, and so that they can improve their skills. And then we need knowledge, of course, we need technology, and we need cooperation. That is competitive innovation. innovation that never stops, that keeps on moving. Innovation is never going to stop, and we need to move forward too. We need to give a reply to those innovative concepts that are going to be arising. So the managers in the school are going to be supported first by people working in terms of strategy. They need to work around the strategy of that school together with companies, together with other schools. Then they also need to promote innovation, how to do things in a different way, how to make our schools better and able to adapt and transform themselves. Or how are we also going to be able to work and to support people so that they can be innovative in their jobs? And how can we support SMEs so that they can use innovation, change their products, and change their different ways of working? So strategy and innovation are very important, but there is a third element, which is the operational area. Yes, the organization of schools also need to work with this perspective, working also with concepts such as values or change management, for example. That is important too. We need people who are going to be there leading the way and promoting the way, or who are going to be there to try and identify the changes that are necessary. Lateral thinking, constructive thinking, creative thinking, emotional intelligence, all those terms are essential. And we need the students to understand that they need to think in a different way. That is the most important thing. And of course, first of all, we need to give the right skills to our teachers, and then we will be transferring those skills to our students. So we are working about many different fields in dynamic schools, working in a new way in many different fields. But as I said before, nothing comes out of nothing. There is always an origin, and here the most important thing is the work that we have already been doing in these last 20 years. This has not been the first important transformation in this country. It is not the first time, but we need to be successful. Nothing comes out of nothing. Without your effort, without your work, we cannot do anything. Yes, I am conscious that it is difficult, but we need to know that we all have an effort to make, and we need to do things right. And let me give you some figures. Innovation applied to SMEs. We have 33 schools, 33 VET schools, 400 projects, and 250 companies. We are working on new products, new processes, but we are also developing services because computers is essential. International trade is essential. We need to be able to work in different contexts. Hairdressers, for example, or hairdressing. You know, in the world of hairdressers, competition is huge. They have competition, you know, people who have come from China and who are working as hairdressers. And there is, you know, lots of competition for traditional hairdressers. And that is why they also need to be innovative, them too. So we need to work in many different contexts. Advanced management, competitive intelligence, that is something essential. We have 25 different VET schools, 166 teachers, and 150 different skills. 53 schools, VET schools, working on entrepreneurship. 12,000 students have been getting these entrepreneurship skills, and this year we have created 82 companies. the concept, as you can see here, and the most important thing is that in these last 3 years, we have had 39,000 students, so that we have been able to create 287 new companies. But if we talk about high performance cycles, then it is true that we should be very happy. We already have 46 VET schools working with these new methods, 139 new cycles, which take 2 years, 2 courses, 2 years, 139 cycles, 1,646 teachers who are already ready, 3,473 students who are already going to start with these new methodologies. This year we had 1,500, but this next year we're going to be having 3,000 and almost 500 students following these new methodologies. So all this is the future. And this is very serious and very important, and this is what we are going to be deploying. And we have to be ready, because we cannot go backwards. This is the future that we need, because we have reached agreements with trade unions, with employers, with schools, with administrations. Yes, we all know that this is the model we want, because you from the different schools, you have told us that this is the way that we need to keep on moving along. Very often I have told you that we need to row all together. We're all on the same boat, and these are the essential concepts, because that is what rowing is about. And also, we cannot forget that we are within a specific context. We all need to make an effort. Waves are going to be there, and we have to be bold and daring. Sometimes it will be hard and we will be suffering, but at the end of the day, we will make it, because we want to build things, move forward, and we have to be daring and take risks. Yes, but we cannot forget something which is essential. We are moving forward, we are building, and we are taking risks as if we were climbing a mountain. The first one is climbing, but the last one too. If the first one climbs up, goes up, all the others have to follow. We are all together. We are all holding the same rope. That is why it is important. Yes, I insist, we need to join our hands and join our efforts, because we share the same goal, because we know that the value of a society is determined by the value of our people. You know that your work is essential, because that is going to be defining our future society. That is our job, that is our task, and I am confident about the future, because I know that you are working very well and that you are making a huge and a great effort. We have never been in a situation such as the situation today. There are people who say that young people are going to have a gloomer future, a darker future. And when people say that, I don't agree. That is not true. I think that the future is going to be better than ours. And you and us together, we have to make that possible, just as our parents tried to give and leave us a better future. We cannot say that the young people are going to have a worse situation, a gloomier situation. We cannot give up. We have never given up, and we are not going to give up today. No, of course not. We have to keep on struggling and to keep on fighting. And if we do things well, and if we work all together, I am sure that we will make it. And now maybe you will be thinking, yes, sure, we're making an effort. Of course, but sometimes look at what happens. Sometimes we end up like that, like on the picture, we get burnt. Yes, and it is true that sometimes we can also end up like that, and we fall down the cliff. And then what is the lesson to learn? If we fall 7 times, we need to stand up, not 7 times, but 8 times. That is essential. But I am an optimistic person about the future. I am sure that we are going to make it. We will be able to get this road runner. Yes. And now I don't want to talk about magic. Templarian people, they used to say that action is essential. If we want to learn things, action is essential for learning. We need to start doing. But if now we go to Mahomet, he said that if the mountain doesn't come to us, we should go towards the mountain. What does it mean? That we need to move, to start moving. We cannot remain like that. If we move forward, if the goals have been clearly defined, we cannot be pessimistic. We will succeed. We cannot be complaining all day long. No, we cannot complain all the time. People say this is a disaster. That's not true. It is true that there are many things that have to be improved. It is true that the situation is hard for many people. Yes, but we also have indications about a brighter future. And why do I say that? Because those who are going to make that future possible is all of us, teachers, and we all together in the different countries. We are going to make it possible, because education does not change the world, but education is there to prepare those people who are able to change the world. Our job and our profession is the very best in the world. We teachers, we are giving these skills to people so that they can make a brighter future. If we do things well, we can make it happen. Those people will be able to turn that brighter future into a reality. We need to be convinced. We have our responsibility is huge, but we have the experience and we know that we can make it happen. We can train our young people so that they can be ready for the future. We need to say and study, but we need to do and to make things happen. And Linda Carey was speaking about it. VET has been playing an essential role, and it is going to be playing an essential role, because we need good training. But we are ready to make it happen, and we are ready to make those changes happen. We cannot let things to repeat themselves. We need to learn from history, to learn from the past. We need to look ahead, but our feet have to be deeply also grounded on the floor. And before I finish, I would like to say thank you to all those involved in the VET sector in the Basque Country. This term is going to finish, and for me it has been a pleasure and an honor to be Deputy Minister, and I would like to say thank you to the President of the Basque government. But also I would like to say thank you to public schools, to the different associations, Ikaslan in Gipuzkoa. You are great. It is impressive, the work you are doing. It is impressive to see how daring and bold you are, because it is true that it has been difficult. You have been very courageous to develop, to do what you have been doing. I would like to say thank you to Ikaslan in Vizcaya, in Biscay, because you have been making very important decisions. You have been working very hard. You are working in a very different context in Biscay with different companies compared to the situation in Gipuzkoa, in this province. And also I would like to say thank you to those of you coming from Álava, the third Basque province. It is true that you have also been working very hard. Thank you very much, Ethel. You are a guarantee for the future. Keep on working just as keep on working just like that. AIC, you have been a discovery for me. Thank you also. You are networking, you share the same goal. We are providing vocational education and training in the Basque Country, and we are doing that successfully. And it is an honor for me to be Deputy Minister, but I can also say from the bottom of my heart that for me, if there is something I am really proud about is because I am also a teacher. Thank you very much.
Por el futuro. Ahora, por el futuro. Tknika asko.
Eskerrik asko, Jorge Arévalo.
Thank you very much, Jorge, for